someone unfortunately passed away, and that created the hashtag Comics Broke Me, which slowly, or not slowly, quickly became not about him passing away and just about the trials and tribulations of being a creative in the comic industry.
Right.
And then comes a guy saying like, "Hey guys, I feel bad, but this is on you. You gotta take control of your destiny and
Right.
make it happen if you want it to happen." And he caught so much shit for that. They
Yeah.
ruined his publishing gig. They done bullied the artists he was working with to where they don't even want to work with him anymore. And meanwhile, on the other side of Twitter, there's a guy doing exactly what he said, and he just had $1.5 million in the first couple days of his campaign. It's not even like he went outside and said, "Hey, the Earth is round." Okay, I can't prove it because it's right here, but it's round. I promise you. Like, no, he went out and said the sky is blue, and there it is. And everyone said, "Oh, bullshit! Like, fuck you!" Like,
come on, Benny, man. The kid is a L7 Weenie.
Hi, welcome to the L7 Weenie podcast. I'm trying to be more professional and actually do introductions now. And this episode, I am honored by the presence of fellow cartoonist Ken. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate the welcome, man. Happy to be here.
All right, cool. So, how's your day going?
Pretty good, man. It's just another one of the days in the grind, you know.
What does that look like for you?
Well, right now my job is on break for summer, so it's like I'm getting a little test run of doing comics full time.
Oh, okay. What's your job, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm a dishwasher. I say that all day, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You said it's on break right now.
Yeah, because I work at a school.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like just a gateway to like a different kind of job at the school, or?
No, it's just the one I like. It's like it's like comics is the job, and then doing the dishes is like a break. It's like a mental break, you know what I mean? I don't have to think. I just wash things and be done with it.
Yeah, I feel you. Like my first job, like for real, was like working at in a warehouse, a FedEx warehouse, where it's just really, mundane stuff you can shut your mind off and just kind of do. You don't have to worry about it. And if you want to have your mind on, you can easily think about brainstorm comic ideas and stuff like that while still doing whatever you're doing.
Right.
So, yeah.
I've seen a lot of warehouses, man, in my time, for sure.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say you've seen a lot of warehouses. I'm like, you sound weathered, man. Like you done came back from the war.
Yeah, warehouses, moving jobs, all this stuff. So like, because I don't have any actual like skills, it's just gonna be like physical labor or dishwashing until I make it in comics.
Hey, washing dishes is a skill. Okay, I would stand behind that. I mean, I have never done it professionally, but I mean, I think that's definitely like not everybody can get out the like. I know this from having lived with roommates. Not everybody can get everything out of a dirty dish. Some people just aren't built for it. So yeah,
it doesn't take too much, but it's nice. It's a nice like mental break, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how is it going with like having a break off from that and just more so focusing on comics?
Well, every day is like I need some like social interaction or something, but for the most part, it's just me alone in a room trying to get my website up, trying to color comics. That's what I do, like at least professionally in comics right now. I color them. I'm doing a cover commission, and I'm trying to balance that all out with doing like air writer on the side, like my main comic air writer. I'm trying to draw that while doing all these like paid gigs, but the paid gigs take so much time away from doing my own thing. It's just like, dang, like I got to take the money because I need it, but I'd really like to do my own thing, get that started.
Yeah. I mean, so you said you're like building a website?
Yeah, I'm building a website for to house the Air Rider comics because right now I have it hosted on Global Comics, but I want to have my own website just in case anything happens.
Mm-hmm. So he's like from scratch or using like Wix or something?
Oh, I'm definitely using what's it called? WordPress. WordPress really helps. Like WordPress and Bluehost. That's what I use to make the website. It actually helps do a lot of the back end stuff because I actually talked the other day to a friend who's in web development. Like he's doing things from scratch, and he says it's so difficult to actually start a website from scratch that it would take months and years to like actually learn the skills required. So I'm like, okay, now that he's told me about this, I don't have to worry about trying to start a full-on website. I can just use the tools that I have. I probably should have started with like Wix or Squarespace or something like that just to have it easier in making this.
Yeah. I mean, with like how much further would you say you have to go doing it the way you've been doing it?
Not much further because I don't have too many comics out right now. It's only like issue 1, 2, and then a third like mini issue coming up soon. But because I don't have too much content to put up there, I basically have all the pages and stuff ready, and it should be done in like a month or so. It's just that everything else that I'm doing business wise gets in the way of doing pretty much anything and getting it done. It's weird.
Yeah, that's like I was dealing with that for like the longest, which is why I just started doing like it's funny because there's no real roadmap when it comes to being a cartoonist. It's
Right.
like you got to figure out what best works for you, and that's I eventually settled into my groove of just running things out of my Facebook page, and then I have like
Right.
I just started really sort of bringing back my store envy storefront,
Okay.
and like that'll be like this the shopping side of everything. But yeah, it's so much easier for me to just be like, okay, just put it on Facebook, and it's a lot less of a headache because yeah, you want it to be you don't want it to become the thing. You want making comics to be the thing. And like,
Oh, I'm sorry, you just froze there for a second.
oh, of course, I froze with my hands just looking like this or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put my hands down. Um, I was saying it's easy as when you're like a one-man band for something else to become the thing, and you just want the thing to be making comics,
Right.
Right. Did I
Yeah.
freeze? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you froze up a little bit. But you said something about it be a when you're making comics.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna say, is the connection fine? It looks fine. I don't know. Guess we'll just have to keep.
There's an option to record locally, like on each side, so that even if we cut out to like audio issues or connection issues, we can just upload the files.
Let me see.
A few moments later.
But I'm not freezing anymore, I guess.
No, you're all good.
Okay, cool. So as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by technology. As a cartoonist, you usually become like a one-man band, and
Right.
it's easy for you want your main thing to be just making comics, and it's easy for something else to quickly become the main thing, trying to support comics. And yeah, it took me a while to find something that actually fit that actual framework and perspective. But
Right.
yeah.
I actually I wanted to ask you about Facebook and how that's working out for you in terms of promoting and selling your comic. Like, what do you do on there to you mentioned something about a program, like a $30,000 program or something. I'm not sure how that works. Like, what is that?
So it's called the Facebook Performance Bonus, and yeah, it's basically you know how people used to always say like, well, you can't get paid for clicks, you can't get paid for likes. It's like you have to actually get something that makes money. Well, now you can get paid for clicks and you can get paid for likes. That is the new world we are living in. So basically, if anyone likes, comments, shares, or even just clicks the image, you
Mhm.
get paid for that. Here,
Oh,
I'm gonna
really?
put my dashboard real quick, just so you can, so whoever's watching, they don't think it's just, just a bunch of, hot air. Far
Right, because I looked at your page and it was a lot of
Yeah, so like that's the performance bonus if that's any kind of way to see that. But yeah.
I can kind of see it.
So yeah, like I've earned 2,600 so far for this period that ends in like a day. Um
Oh, nice.
but yeah, it's really easy to just kind of let it do its thing because you can schedule posts out like a month in advance and stuff if you really wanted to, and
Right,
have that on autopilot. It makes money, it builds an audience, and you can focus on just doing your thing. You don't have to be
right.
like some super like people like you're on Twitter, you see the discourse. People make marketing
Yeah,
like it's just this full-time gig, and it has to be so involved, and it can be if you're doing it in certain ways, but
right,
this is a way to where it can be very much just in the background while you do your thing. Facebook will market your stuff. All you gotta do
right,
is make stuff. So
right. Actually,
go ahead.
the
Yeah.
one thing I noticed about your page is that it's not all your work. It's like you're posting stuff related to the kind of stuff that you make. Like it could be like Cartoon Network posts or like just like anime or cartoons, that kind of thing. Is that part of the program as well?
So that's just kind of like that's just me finding my niche or whatever. Like I make
Right.
crossover comics. So I was like, well, a good way to sort of, fill out my original stuff would just be using other people's crossover art. So long
Mm,
as they don't have like a, do not repost on their page or something, then it's like, all right, I'll leave them alone. But
right.
yeah, the brand itself is crossover stories. So it's like, okay, well,
Right.
fits in that vein, and it makes it, kind of a part of all of the same thing. So
Right.
yeah, that's what they would call just like a repost page sort of.
Okay.
I do post my own original stuff in between that, but it's much
Right.
more a repost page, which is like a lot easier to monetize. But I have
Yeah.
started doing like creating pages dedicated completely to just a singular story, which is like
Mhm.
other people like what to you. That's what I would recommend, because that first big page that I have is more so just sort of like a umbrella, instead of like
Right.
a focused audience. It's an audience that like crossover whatever, and it's hard to
Right.
really sell to an audience like that if you're not just
Mhm.
completely dependent on getting that performance bonus.
Right.
So what I've started doing is like, like I still have the advantage of having the performance bonus, but it's like, okay, what I'm gonna do now is create another page, and it'll be completely dedicated to stories. So I'll create content for that story as I'm making it, and if that page gets the performance bonus too, great, But I'm not relying on that. The main goal for those kind of pages is to build an audience dedicated to this one story, and
Uh-huh.
then once you get a book out, you can sell to that audience, just like
Mm.
what Tyler be saying, Tyler Carpenter, Draw and Talk be saying,
Yeah.
you got to build an audience and then bring it to, wherever you're trying to sell. So, like, again,
Right.
Facebook kind of takes care of that, because all you have to do is run like a couple Facebook ads, and then invite whoever likes the post.
Uh-huh.
Once you get the following up to about 1,000, 5,000, Facebook will have a better understanding of what kind of audiences are interested in your page, and
Mm.
they'll just organically share it. So you won't have to run ads anymore. So, like I said,
Right.
Facebook takes care of that. I don't really have to do too much. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm looking to get like the performance bonus was cool. I want to
Mhm.
scale that as much as I can. Like, because at one point it was at like I was getting almost 5,000 a month, but
Oh, nice.
dialed it back because they're trying to make it more sustainable, and yada yada
Right.
yada. So, but now I'm entering this new phase of trying to target a direct audience, and start tapping into that Eric July money and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that would be really great. So that's what I'm working towards now.
What do you mean by direct audience? Like, what's that?
So like I said, the main page that I have right now, the main Marcel Comics page on Facebook, is what I would call just an umbrella audience. There's a bunch of people there for a bunch of different fandoms. Some people are there for Dragon Ball. Some people are there for Powerpuff Girls. Some people are there for 80s, like random 80s cartoons. You know, they just
Right.
a lot of different fandoms and different kind of fans there. You know, there's some people there for Frozen. You know, there's some people there for what's a random one?
Courage the Cowardly Dog or something.
Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Rocco, you know, Teenage Robot. There's so many different fandoms attached to that. So it's kind of hard to sell my my latest, you know, crossover comic that involves, let's say, mostly Dragon Ball characters to that audience and expect a big return. And like, so I have 90,000 followers, but 90,000 followers aren't interested in that story. So why when I say a direct audience, I'm like, imagine if those 90,000 followers were all following because of that one story.
Oh, okay, I see.
That's more of a what I'm calling a direct audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm starting to get a hold of like who my niche is and who I'm trying to market to. I haven't broken into doing Facebook yet, but I've been starting to get more traction on Reddit. I've been like finding the groups where like I go on to like the Y2K aesthetic subreddit, and it's like early 2000s cartoons, like art, animation, videos, all kinds of stuff, music, and I've been saving that kind of stuff for so long, like putting up on Pinterest, all that kind of stuff, so that I can start feeding that into Reddit. And just today, I put up my own piece that looked like a Y2K piece, and that got a whole bunch of likes and some people to go look at my comic because I put the link in there. So like I'm now on the Discord and all that, but I do want to get into Facebook. I was just wondering like what the inroads to do that was. I mean, like, could I just start posting a bunch of images that I saved up over time and start talking about that, and then try to parlay that audience into my work?
Yeah, I mean, it's really as simple as just start posting, create a new page, start posting, you know, and if you're gonna do it, like I'm saying, more to a dedicated audience for, like, it's called Air Writer, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so if you're making a page just for Air Writer, and I would say, just post any and everything related to your story. You know, the process is the content, so to speak. You know, I'm sure you've probably heard that before. Any sketches, any kind of artwork you do for the comic. Hell, maybe a screenshot of a script. You know, like maybe with some parts blacked out or whatever. If you don't want to give. Everything is content. You know, a 30-second drawing process, time lapse. And then, you know, like, I don't really get too caught up in like the copy, like the descriptions of posts, but for building a audience for like a new story like Air Writer, it would probably be good if you were to add a little substance and context in the copy. So you say you throw up just a picture of the main character, right? And so in the copy, you know, because the picture looks cool on its own and people will like it, you know, whatever off of that. But in the copy, you would have, this is, what's his name?
Oh, the main character, Eric Bogan.
Okay, so this is Eric. He's the main character of Air Writer, coming soon. Right. You know, something simple like that. You know.
Right.
And then you give it context. People can attach themselves to, like, oh, I like the picture, and oh, this is the main character, and okay, they're like 2% more invested now, you know. So
Oh, okay.
it's
So
that simple, yeah.
so I have a Facebook page. It's called like, I guess it's called The Art of Comic Ken,
Hmm.
and I'm wondering if I can maybe change the name and then just start posting all kinds of like Y2K related art content that's not mine, but people will be liking that stuff and be interested in the aesthetic, and then I can sprinkle in my own posts, like my own art, in there every other post. Like, would that work as a like viable strategy?
Um, it could. Like at this point, I would always recommend to people that they do more so like focus on just their story because
Hmm.
you don't have to really go off of it like how people approach YouTube, where they'll make
Right.
different videos that are similar to what they want to actually do. You
Uh
know,
huh.
you don't really have to do that because you're not as at the mercy of the algorithm on Facebook because, like I said, you can do the paid ads. So
Right.
like back when I first started doing the whole thing with my Marcel Comics page, I
Hmm.
felt like I was more so at the mercy of the algorithm and I was really I don't even know if it was that. I might have just been trying to get as much attention as possible because
Right.
I was like, oh, this is making money. I need more posts. Well, let's do this, you know. So, but as far as I wasn't trying to build an audience for something, I was just trying to generate more engagement. And
Right.
I would say if you're looking to build an audience, it's better to really just focus on the story and then highlight any and every aspect of the story you can. Um, so
Right.
so let's say like let me just go from my comic. Last the one that I just put out has Goku, Frank Ocean, and Cookie Cat, and they're trying to fight Puff Daddy for the Dragon Balls, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
so for a dedicated page, I would of course have art of Goku and okay, well, you know what? Because that's someone else's stuff. That might not be a good example. So let me just say for my comic that I'm actually doing this strategy now with called Pizza. Like I did a really cool like big pinup picture,
Yeah.
and that's running on an ad right now. It's just a real simple teaser. It's nothing like special, but it's like I'm just adding advertising that and nothing else, and it's already up to like 88 followers. So let's see how you see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just running this something simple that says it's like an all new coming of age action comedy in indie comic hit in December 2023. And
Right.
as I get closer to that, I'll do a picture of the main character saying like, you know, not too much. Like I was telling my friend this. That's right. I was saying do your best to create intrigue and like put a question into the audience's mind. So
Right.
like now I did use the example of Spider-Man for this just because it made it easier. Let me pull up the exact text because I don't want to give you bad advice.
Right.
uh, let's see. Da, 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 da.
Because I'm looking at your page and I see a lot of like crossover art in general,
Mhm.
and I feel like that really gets people like interested in your own stuff. But do you have a separate page for your own art?
For not just well like for that one I just showed you, yeah, that's
Hmm.
called like so the main page is just Marcel Comics.
Right.
The one that I just showed you is Marcel Comics hyphen pizza, which is the name of the comic. It has the same
Oh, okay.
logo though, so it has that brand recognition because it's like
Right.
it would be a waste to just you know I got 90,000 followers who know that logo so they can just easily associate it while they're still on separate pages. So
Is there a link?
on like the Marcel Comics page,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Real quick though, this example that I was saying for Spider-Man. So like the idea was that it would be this would be the image, right? Like that would
Right.
be the post. And then in the description, it would say, "Every night is the same lately for the Amazing Spider-Man as he continues to search for his beloved uncle's killer." It puts the like, you know, as you're introduced to this character, it's like, oh, so this guy's a superhero and he's out looking for his uncle's, like, who killed his uncle? Why did they kill his uncle? Like, you put a question into the reader's head. And then you could also, like, another one was, "With great power comes great responsibility," are the last words Spider-Man's uncle told him before he tragically died. You know, so you get in the question of like, oh, what made it so tragic? And then it's also like the tagline of the story. So it's like something people can easily grab a hold to, you know, and it's like, or it's like, here's something that's more describing of the character. "Spider-Man is flexible, super strong, and agile. There is no acrobatic feat too extreme for the wisecracking wall crawler." That's just more so a very good way of describing the character. But you see what I'm saying, right? Like, you give it context and that makes it pop. And yeah, you could do stuff that's like similar in the vein to Air Rider, you know, like maybe other comics that are similar in the, you know, with the themes or genres or different, you know, art aesthetic. You could do all those things. I just think if the goal is to sell comic books, like sell a product, I would think it's best to focus on the comic itself and that world within the comic as much as possible.
Right. And would you say that you're doing Facebook as the only, like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as the like only platforms that you're using to promote your work?
Facebook, definitely the biggest. I do YouTube as well, just because it was like, because I used to be on Webtoon like everybody else, right? But
Yeah, me too.
it seemed like a horrible idea after a while. Especially once Facebook, like I started doing the stuff with the performance bonus. I'm like, oh, Webtoon sucks, you know? So it's like, what I realized doing research though, even before I started doing the performance bonus, was that there are people putting comics on YouTube in manhwa scroll format. Like I would find unordinaries and solo leveling videos, and I'm like, oh, so there's people out there that will read comics in a video, and it's the same thing for like a bunch of other random manhwa out there. So I started putting my comics on video format, and you know, I'm like, if that grows to do something in the future, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. I still have like the Facebook play and selling, you know, the physical books. But yeah, I'm like, well, I'll grow the page as much as possible, and YouTube's algorithm, unlike Webtoon, can suggest your stuff automatically, so you don't have to be actively advertising it. You know, like you want to do as many things as you can to where it's like I don't have to be hands on about it. And also, like another thing, because this is what really got me into it versus doing physical books. Because I was like, if this takes off, this is great. Because it falls in line with this really great statement I heard this entrepreneur say once, where he said, "I don't want to do anything that only pays me one time." So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, if you sell a book, that's one payment, right? That's it. Versus like, okay, it's up here to stream, you know, whenever, wherever, and I can get paid potentially every time, you know, like multiple times off of this story. So yeah, I have that for the manhwa, and I'm also doing comic dub versions of that with voiceovers. So yeah, YouTube, Facebook, and you know, that's about it. Doing some, and then I'm about to start doing these physical fulfillments as well, like pre-order campaigns, a la Rippaverse and whatnot. But that's about it. Yeah, I tried like there's more I could do obviously, but I just try not to overwhelm myself any more than I already am. Yeah.
I'm kind of in that phase of trying everything in the kitchen sink, you know. And I'm just now starting to find a way to hit more of the target that I'm trying to attract to my comic. I'm trying like newsletter, YouTube, Twitter, starting to get back into Instagram, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Reddit, Discord, and now I'm trying to build out the website, and it's like, okay, so I'm trying to do enough to where I can tell what's getting me the most results, and then what I can stop doing and what I should do more of. But I'm still just in that like trial and error phase. Right. I'm still trying to like find out how I can make my comic faster so that I can put out more content. Over time.
And I mean, I know I'm biased, but I would just recommend starting a Facebook today and doing, at the very least, doing $2 ads a day. Like $2 ads a day, that's like $14 a week. Most people can handle that. I don't want to just assume your money situation, but $2 a day isn't that much. And even if it's a lot, just you do what? $2 for 3 days. Like, you don't have to commit to a full week for the campaign. You don't have to commit for, I don't think, more than a day if you don't want to. You could just do a $2 ad once a week. And that's you doing your advertising for your page and slowly building your audience, And
nice.
Like I said, I know I'm biased, but Facebook has been pretty good for me so far. And I don't see why it would get any worse, or not get any worse. I don't see why it would get worse unless there's just Mark Zuckerberg does some dumb shit and the whole platform crashes. But I mean, you could say that almost about any social media, I guess, at this point. But yeah, I found, like, just through trying a lot of places, it's the easiest place to grow. And there's billions of users on the platform. It's one of the most trafficked websites on the internet. So I mean, I know you gotta do your own thing, but I would definitely recommend starting a Facebook page. Like I said, you only need like one real good image, and just run that for a while you troubleshoot and test other things. You can still have that out there, just doing this thing.
Right. Would you say I would have to build up the material on the page itself first before like putting out an ad to attract people to it?
No, I mean, I only have that one image on the pizza page.
Oh, okay.
You don't need that much. It's like people aren't gonna come to that Facebook page and like is this it? Because what they're seeing is that your ad, they're just seeing that in their news feed. Like if they were just scrolling like in between their friends' stuff or whatever pages they follow. So it's just, think of it as an isolated image, and as it stands alone, it's enough because it's right there. For the people who want to know more, that's where the description comes in, and you can give them that context and say, here's what's coming soon, and written and drawn by blah blah blah. And maybe if you're trying to also grab audience to shepherd them to other places, which in my experience just doesn't even really work that well. I don't know.
Oh, really?
You were having some success on Reddit, but I mean, for me, I'm like, look, the platform's audience is the platform audience. Good luck trying to get them somewhere else. It can be done, but it's hard for some reason. You just gotta kind of wait for other people to just be enthusiastic enough to be like, well, let's see what he's like on YouTube, or let's see what he's like on Twitter. I think it's kind of like, it's just been hard to get people to move like that. So something I've really realized this past like 6 months, because I just started doing conventions again for the first time. Nice. And so I've been up to like 80,000 followers during all of this time. And I go to these conventions and I'm still just a nobody. Like, nobody recognizes me, really. It wasn't until this last convention, Heroes Con, where like a couple people were like, oh, I've seen that, before on Facebook and stuff and everything. And it was only like maybe 3 people. Like I was like,
Right.
I was like 90,000 followers equates to maybe 3 people will recognize you at a convention. So it's like
Right.
I say that to say is that there's so many people out there that still haven't
Mhm.
seen your stuff. So that one thing is going to be new to a shit ton of people. You know,
Right.
don't get so caught up in, oh well, this is old. I got to make new stuff. That no one is like
Ah.
that picture that's running right now for pizza. I did that maybe back in 2014. You know,
Wow.
it's old, but no one's seen
Mhm.
it before, really. Like, so it's like it's new to them, and
Right.
that's what my main page with the repost page taught me. Um, everything exists for like 5 seconds on the internet, and
Right. These days.
yeah, it's like so. I mean, unless someone's trying to pull up some dirt on you, that's just
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
mean, as far as entertainment, imagery, yeah, it exists for like 5 seconds. I've posted the same content to that page multiple times, and it'll do well every time because it's like, well, it's spread out, but still, there's so many people who haven't seen it yet. There's so many
Right.
people out there to where it's like you don't have to get so caught up in making new content and this like I'm getting excited. I'm rambling. I'm trying to,
Oh no, you're good.
but this was a lesson I had to learn. My sister taught me because I was just caught up in making new stuff, as an artist, you just want to create. I had to get to a point to where I realized like I have enough stuff. How do we get this to work for us? How does we monetize this? So
Right.
now I found a way to monetize it, and I have enough of it to where I don't have to worry about running out, and also I can just recycle content. So it's like
Right.
I can create at my own speed. I don't have to work faster or cram one night. Get all these health problems like you saw those people with the comics broke me and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Be that person because the algorithm and the internet, the users are telling you that it's fine. You just got to learn how to stretch it. Like you don't have to do all of that. You just got to learn how to stretch it.
When you say enough content, how much is that? Like, is it 2 comic books worth or like 3 books worth? Like 100 pages? Like, how much is enough?
So uh uh I mean, let's say I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're
Mhm.
trying to post content for a week, um hell, one panel might be enough. 7 days,
Really?
because you could start with the rough outline, like the rough draft of the panel. That's one day.
Yeah.
The second day is maybe the time lapse video. The third day is you know maybe a color palette next to the panel, like just
Mhm.
the black and white panel, and you explain in the copy, here's why I'm using these colors for this panel. For the people who are like nerd about it, it's like, oh, he's using these colors to convey these emotions, and it's because it's in this setting, and he pulled inspiration from that, story. So that's 3, 4. Um, the colored version of the panel. 5 could be another quick little video of how it just goes from the rough to the final colored version, like just fades in to the next one. uh
Right.
6 could be that panel now on the full view of like seeing how it fits on the whole page you're working on, and
Right.
saying how this is just one panel of what, like 5 more that are a part of this scene for these characters, and like think of your page as like kind of like the behind the scenes director's commentary, if that's a
Right.
little easier to understand, and just go
Yeah.
into as much detail as you can about whatever. And then 6 could be you highlighting a certain part of the panel, saying like, okay, they're wearing these types of clothes because of blah blah blah. And if you want to get your affiliate marketing on, you could be like, these are real clothes, and here's a link to the fit. You know, you can get these on Amazon right now, or Target, Walmart. There's so many affiliation programs out there. Then 7, right? We need one more. 7 is well, I can't think of one right now, but I just gave you 6 whole, you know, pieces of content from one panel, and it can, like, you know, the more you focus in on your art and your craft, which, you know, as most artists, it's easy for them to do, because, you know, you replay your story a million times in your head, you know it so well. So yeah, enough is really whatever you think it needs to be. Like for me right now, enough is just that one picture on the page while I work on enough. So eventually I'll do more, you know, do stuff like how I just told you about, get commissions from other artists, and, you know, post those every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, anything and everything a part of that comic process can be content. So yeah, enough is a very relative term.
Right. So you can sell books, or you have enough to sell.
Me, I'm supposed to be talking to you, finding out about you.
Oh,
no, go ahead. I was like, I gotta make sure I ask him a certain amount of questions, just because I was like, I feel like, because I do these, you know, I like to talk shop and strategy. This is fun,
right?
But I do also just kind of want to get to know you more as a person and as a creator. But we got time for that. I was just joking to myself. But
no, you're good.
What were you about to say?
Oh no, I didn't really have much to say. I was just like, it's good that you have enough content to sell, like, books at like shows and conventions and stuff. But if it's supposed to be like
no, it's not supposed to be like anything. Honestly, you can ask me whatever you want. I was just joking with myself, because no one's ever asked me this many questions before. So that's why
really?
Like, this is new, this is different. And I'm like, I'm usually the one, you know, trying to learn about them. But yeah, it was just me having a like wow moment. So, but honestly, you can ask me anything. I'd love to help if you have a question or whatever.
Well, I'm not really new to the comic scene. Like, I've been like watching for a long time. But would you consider yourself new to the comic scene? Like, when did you get started?
I mean, I wouldn't consider myself new to the comic scene, but I mean, that's how it can go in this game. You can be 12, 14, 20 years deep and nobody knows who you are, you know? So I've been making comics since I was like 7 years old. I've got inspired by the Captain Underpants book, the very first, when it first came out back in '97. And I got it at the book fair and saw them making comics, and I was like, that sounds right. So I started making my own comics, and yeah, I've been doing it I was doing it on and off from like 3rd grade to up till my senior year of high school, and then I started getting like more focused on it. So that was back in like 2008. So yeah, I've been at it for a good little minute.
Yeah, same thing with me, man. Like, I started off with like Scooby-Doo and all those shows, and then I got really into it when Naruto came out. And I got really into Naruto. I'd never seen anything like it, and I was just like, I want to make stuff like this, exactly like this. And that's what got me started drawing. I bought my first book from a book fair and just copied it day and night until I could draw just like the book.
They were selling manga at the book fair?
Yeah, there was this book called How to Draw Manga. I did a tweet
Oh
about
yeah,
it a
that
while
one.
back.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, that was like the anime version of East Bay. Like if you if you had
yeah,
that book, that was like a very like it was just a flex just to have it with you in your binder in your backpack.
yeah, yeah. I still have that book, and it was in my binder. It's missing the cover though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it it helped me like learn the basics of drawing, or at least learn what it means to learn how to draw. And
Mm.
yeah, I didn't get serious like you. I didn't get serious about it until like high school, and then I was just like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to be doing. And then I just started getting like I started reading through the Andrew Loomis books and all kinds of instructional material, and started like looking through DeviantArt tutorials just to figure out like, okay, how do I draw this? How do I draw that? Until I eventually learned just basics of everything, and now I can kind of do things at will.
Would you consider yourself a master at comics?
No, not even close. Not even close. I can't draw exactly how I want, and my vision for how I want things to look is so deep. It's so in depth, and it's kind of different that until I can draw things how I want, I'm not gonna really be satisfied. But every drawing is just a step closer to eventually like getting up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to like I spent like maybe a good 2 or 3. You talk about just doing that whole troubleshooting, trial and error. I spent
Mhm.
like maybe a good year just trying to figure out, and not even a year, probably more than that. I'm still kind of funky on it every once in a while, just because there's so many art styles out there. There's so many
Yeah.
ways to draw a picture that it's like just getting down how I wanted, what I was going to be comfortable with, you know, drawing and how it would look. Like it took me so long just to finally get centered down on like, okay, it's roughly going to look like this. It's not the best I can draw, but it's also like not horrible.
Right.
It looks good and I can do it at a good speed, you know?
Right.
Like I was saying though before, if you want to get super detailed, Facebook has it now to where it's like, well, you can get rewarded for being detailed. You just have to make sure you're pimping it out the right way. But
Right.
but for me, and I because I'm a writer and an artist, so I have a million and one stories to tell. It's like, well, look, I gotta get moving on these. I don't have time to take forever, drawing this as good as I can. So
Yeah.
like, I'll find me a happy medium between doodle and refined, and
Mhm.
that's good enough. But as far as like making the comics and like what I think good storytelling is, I think it's good. Like, yeah, to say you still are learning, but I think it's good for people to be like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm a master at this right now. I think a lot of people have a hard time saying like acknowledging their own skills.
Mhm.
And for a while, I didn't really think I knew what the hell I was doing. And then someone like you were asking me questions, and I realized I had pretty good answers to everything they were saying. And I'm like,
Nice.
I think I actually know what I'm doing. And it's like, yeah, I'm
Right.
still learning. I'm not Stan Lee, but I'm like, you know what the hell you're talking about. And it's like I'm like, project that confidence more when the opportunity arises. You ain't got to be like, oh, I'm king shit. But
Right. Right.
like it's like, dude, you have to acknowledge your skills before you can fully use them. Like
Right.
if you walk around thinking, I'm all right, how you ever gonna
Yeah.
take off from the free throw line, Mike? It's like
Right. Right.
you're Michael Jordan. You can't walk around like you what? What's it? I'm gonna say who's a current basketball player? Uh,
I don't
what's
even know.
it? Redick or whatever, But
Yeah.
you gotta understand who you are before you can be who you are, meant to be. So
Right. Right. Right.
that's why I'm like, hey, I haven't seen that many comics from you, but if you think you know what you're doing, man, acknowledge it, say it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always like to have a healthy amount of doubt with my stuff. Like, okay, this doesn't look right. and that just kind of keeps propelling me to make it look better and better. But that I'm definitely caught in that trap between like producing a lot of volume and making each piece the best it can be. It's like, dang, I really want to make this like really good, but I think at the end of it, it usually comes down to me making it as entertaining as possible, rather than making it as anatomically accurate as possible. Like I'm always just like, when all else fails, just make it look as cool as you can. That's what I stick to this day, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's a good motto to live by. You know, it's the One Punch Man webcomic, the original webcomic, and South Park, and you know they found success by just being them at the highest level. It wasn't necessarily about being super polished or whatever. You know, even like both of these stories behind me are finding very similar success, and one is drawn a certain way and the other one's drawn another way, you know?
Right.
So it's like it's kind of just, yeah, you got to figure out what you're happy with, what looks cool in your own way, you know? There's no one way to look cool. Yeah.
Right. And what would you say is like your end game in terms of making comics? Are you trying to go up to like animation, Hollywood, or are you trying to make comics the strongest it can be in terms of like the indie scene?
Yeah, I really just want to make comics like and be really good at that and pump that up as much as possible. You know, I'm not really looking like, now you want to talk about doubt. Like if someone, I think my dad said something to me one day about a cartoon or a live action being made, and I was like, I was like, I don't think so. Like it was just, it's not even something I'm even thinking about, you know, to where it's hard to picture that, you know, and it's like, I suppose it could happen, you know, it's especially the fact that I'm using like other people's characters half the time. Someone could easily be like, well, hey, this is pretty good. Let's pay him like $5 and then steal his idea and make this a real thing with legit animation and stuff, and we'll bring back the original cast and yada 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 and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's possible, but for me, I'm really just trying to make cool comics. I don't really want to do animations or live actions. I mean, if the opportunity arises, definitely, it would probably be like super awesome, especially for my original stories. That would be great. But it's not something I'm working towards at all. I'm just trying to make as many cool stories as possible, or rather, make as many cool comics as possible, and make as much money off of those comics as I can. And so far, that philosophy has steered me pretty well. It took a while to sort of figure out the best way to do it, but with the whole, like, and a lot of creators get stuck thinking it's impossible. But that's the problem is they look at themselves as comic creators and not content creators. We're living in the age of the creator economy, where it's super easy for a creative individual to monetize their work, and it doesn't have to just be animation or live action adaptation. Those aren't the only ways to get it. You can be super profitable, as Eric July is showing, off of just making comics. It doesn't have to be more. So like that's what I'm. And like a little sidebar here, because I was thinking about this earlier today. Because Tyler from Draw and Talk is about to do a stream tonight, and I think it is hilarious. Like the past 2 weeks of the comic industry, it's just the most amazing thing. Like here we are, have a guy, or rather, let me start at the beginning. Someone unfortunately passed away, and that created the hashtag Comics Broke Me, which quickly became not about him passing away and just about the trials and tribulations of being a creative in the comic industry. And then here comes a guy saying like, hey guys, I feel bad, but this is on you. You gotta take control of your destiny and
Right.
make it happen if you want it to happen. And he caught so much shit for that. They
Yeah.
ruined his publishing gig. They done bullied the artists he was working with to where they don't even want to work with him anymore. And meanwhile, on the other side of Twitter, there's a guy doing exactly what he said, and he just had $1.5 million in the first couple days of his campaign. It's not even like he went outside and said, "Hey, the Earth is round." Okay, I can't prove it because it's right here, but it's round. I promise you. Like, no, he went out and said the sky is blue, and there it is. And everyone said, "Oh, bullshit! Like, fuck you!" It's amazing how that happened. It's unfortunate and amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like it really just goes to show you though that you cannot get caught up in what the masses think about stuff. There's a way to do it. Whatever you want to do, whatever your goal for making comics is, there's a way to do it. Just don't be limited by other people's beliefs.
Right. Exactly. And the way I think about it is like you would believe one thing, but on the internet, you don't say exactly what you believe. Like if that's your brand, if that's what you want to do, you can say what you believe and catch all the smoke for it. But catching all that smoke, is it worth it in the end? Like, is it worth losing the publishing deals, or is it worth like all the headaches and trouble it's going to bring to you, or is it in a way like does it propel you forward by catching all that smoke or putting out your beliefs in that way?
Yeah.
And I wonder, it's like I always think about it in terms of like I have a battle or I have a goal that's so far in the future. Like, do I want to say something that will trip me up on a pebble, like in this moment? And if you understand like the mentality of the creators in this space, and that his tweets were like a really good litmus test for the mentality of the people in this space. You start to see like how weak-minded some people can be. Like you start to see like they're arrogant and they think they know everything, or they just want to be negative and depressed and bring other people down with them. Like some people have so little going on that the best thing that they've done for that week or for that month is bring somebody else down. And it's like, I don't want to even invite that energy. Like, I don't want to invite that energy because somebody's just waiting to grab onto it. I can have the most positive tweets, like, stacked up 10 in a row. But then the one time I'm negative is the one that everyone grabs onto and starts, like, lambasting, and, like, the whisper networks start, and, like, they'll start dragging people down. Like, if you're truthful, but you don't say it in a nice, sweet, kind way with all the sugar and cherries on top, if you don't say it how these people like understand it, then they'll ruin you, or they'll try to ruin you. Like if you just don't, if you say it in a way that's like direct and hard hitting. Like, I worked in warehouses, I worked in moving jobs. Like, people will tell you what to do and then say fuck you after that. Like, they don't give a fuck how it's said. They just say it what they mean. And you just got to get the done work. You can't really say anything back to it. Just shut up and do the work. And that's all that Tyler was saying in those tweets. He was saying, like, shut up, do the work, stop complaining. And a lot of people took offense to that, and they tried to get him canceled. They tried to get him this and that. And I'm actually very glad that he called everybody out on it. Like, he put the names out there, put the receipts out there, because it's like, okay, now you see kind of, okay, who can you trust, or who can you who do you now see is going to try to drag you down if you say anything that's quote unquote out of line. Like, he didn't say anything out of line. He only said what was truthful, but they didn't like how he said it, And when he tried to defend it, they were like, all right, well, let's get him canceled. Let's get him taken off this book. Let's do this and that. And it's like, well, it only made him come back stronger.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was able to get those receipts out there and show people like these are the kind of people that are in this so-called like community. This is what they do to their own. So it's like, dang.
And it was like that also. I remember saying to myself, like, you can tell that a lot of these people have probably never been in competitive sports, because a coach will say that kind of stuff to you, usually very aggressively with some expletives attached. It's
Right.
like if you've been in those kind of environments, you can deal with any kind of criticism at that point. But that's no knock on them. Not everyone's into sports. I was just thinking about it because I'm like, that wasn't that bad, compared to what my track coach said and my basketball coach said to me one time. But but yeah, I like, because how you said it's like, is it worth it, for like, maybe 10 years down the line, do I want to have to worry about this, tweet or whatever? Because people will oh, go ahead.
Oh, not exactly in that case. I mean, like, you'll have to fight a much bigger battle in the future. I think it's not worth it to get tripped up over pebbles or fight the smaller like people that you have to fight in this moment to kind of get in the way of what you're trying to do in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. So what I'm saying is, it's like yeah, you don't want to get tripped up by pebbles, as you say, but I think that's what makes people like Tyler and his whole Drawn Talk channel so special. He's like like the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther King of comics. It's like a lot because a lot of black people, like, just not to make it too racial and historic, but a lot of black people like them were not everybody was out there rioting and marching. It wasn't every single black person. A lot of people were just like, man, I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm just trying to raise my family. I'm just look. It's all good. Whatever. Maybe things will get better one day. It don't have to be today.
Right.
A lot of people are just trying to do them. But there's some people out there, some necessary people who will, go out there, say, here's what it is. And then for anybody that shoots back at them, they're going to put the spotlight on them. Like, here's who said that.
Yeah.
Here's who's the problem with this industry. Because I think Tyler just wants the industry to be a better place that can grow and, be great. Like almost every creator probably does, just everyone's going about it, or not everyone, but some people are going about it in different ways. And unfortunately, they're not ways that are healthy for the industry. And so, Tyler's out there doing his Martin Luther King movement. And he's like, hey, we will get to the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I'll be damned if this happens to anybody else. So I'm going to say exactly who did it, why they did it, and they don't let them fool you that they're your friend, so I appreciate it. Would I have done it? Nah, but that's not who I am. But that's, if you want to get spiritual about it, that's not my destiny. That's his destiny. That's his vision. That's who he's meant to be. And it's like, that's why I would never tell him, like, hey man, maybe you should calm down, or you don't want to happen to you. I'm like, nah, because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and I've got to do what I'm supposed to be doing. And when I have the opportunity to maybe say I agree with him or whatever, in a way that aligns with my vision and my principles, I'll definitely would do it. Because, like you said, he didn't do anything wrong. It's an unfortunate thing. But yeah.
And the funny thing is like Tyler's mentality is the mentality that built up the industry to begin with. Like 20 years ago, even maybe like 10 years ago, everyone thought the same way, and they even spoke the same way. They're all thinking like, okay, this is a professional job. This is something we have to work to make it work. And everyone would just go to work, shut up, and do their comics, and then try to get paid. And the best rose to the top, and everyone else who wasn't trying that hard like fell fell to the bottom or didn't get work or didn't get jobs.
Mm.
It's only nowadays that we're starting to hire people based on, well, like I hate to say it, like identity and whatnot. That we're not seeing high quality work because they're hiring so many people who don't really have the talent or the wherewithal to like really stick in it. It's not about like I think a lot of people think it's about followers and not really like sales.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's trying to agree with each other and not really necessarily like make a living. Like Tyler's got a kid, he's got a wife, he's got a family to raise, so it's like I gotta put up or shut up. Like I gotta make results happen, and this is the mentality it takes to do that. And the people who are buying into it, that's who will like succeed, like Eric July and whatnot.
And I think you know, a lot of people took a lot of wrong steps with the whole idea of diversity. But I'm like looking back on that whole era, as I feel like we're moving out of it now.
Yeah, I think so.
I would like, because I've never been a person of like, oh, like we need more diversity in comics, more black characters, and yada yada yada. You know, I've never really been on that. Like, it wasn't something that was important to me growing up. I do see the effects it had on some people, which is why I'm like, well, a period of, you know, that being a main selling point or whatever, like, yeah, sure, let's give that a chance to see what it does and how people deal with it. It wasn't
Right.
dealt with in the best way, but we got it got a chance, you know, and
Right.
I like the idea that it got a chance. I don't like, you know, everything that came from a quote unquote diversity hire or movement, but it was given a chance, and now other ideas have more of an opportunity to bloom as a result, which will be
Right.
good ideas.
Yeah, and I'll say this about that. I think it was definitely like I would say 100%, maybe not 100%, maybe like 90%, 99%.
Yeah.
I would say like 99% it was started with good intentions.
Mhm.
Like they just wanted to see more, like, you know, they said representation in media, like more gay characters, more black characters, more like Hispanic characters, all types of characters. They wanted to see more of that, and that was started with like great intentions. But then the movement itself got out of hand, and they started forsaking the quality of the stories, the quality of the art to make a statement and put out an agenda rather than to put out like high quality stories.
Yeah. But
So I think I'd say it just got out of hand.
yeah.
But actually I wanted to question you about the Eric July situation, and like how do you think that is replicable for artists? Like should we start a YouTube channel, start talking about like how like shitty comics are and this and that, or like what would be our approach to even get to like that top, you know, dollar, you know?
So for me, like the way, you know, like the best entrepreneurs look at other entrepreneurs and see how I can, like you said, replicate it.
Right.
For me, the best way I see to replicate it is doing what I'm doing with the Facebook page with the dedicated story, like the page for the dedicated story, because it's building an audience. And even this one it's in theory, it's better than Eric's idea, or not idea, but his framework, I guess you could say, because it's not a broad spectrum of just comics and pop culture. It's more focused on just the story, which is why he created a channel for Rippaverse comics specifically, you know. So
he did. Okay.
So that would be the best way I could say people can replicate that. You know, if you're trying to more so make it about you, like you want to do what I guess is called influencer marketing, which is basically what Eric did.
Right.
If you're trying to do influencer marketing, hell yeah, that's duplicatable, because like I said, it's not about just comic creators, it's about the creator economy. There's thousands of influencers out there. It can be, duplicated. It's just
Yeah.
take time. So I mean,
Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah, for me, it's just doing the Facebook thing. But I mean, if you
Mhm.
want to be more so at the face of it all, that's just influencer marketing, and you can super do that. Hell, you don't even have to make it you. All you have to do is have an idea and then find an influencer you like and who likes the comic, and then just make them a brand ambassador. Have them champion
Oh.
it. Take a shortcut of 5 years. It's like, hey, I don't have time. I'll just find a popular YouTuber who's into comics or anime or whatever, manga, whatever I'm doing, and then just have them be that's my person. That's my chick or my dude. When I'm ready to come out with content, I send it through them and they send it to their audience. And when I'm gonna have my campaign, whether it be pre-order or Kickstarter, they're gonna be my main vehicle for that.
Right.
Like, that's all it is. It's just influencer marketing. That's been around way longer than ISOM 1. So
Right.
So yeah, if someone's out there looking to duplicate it, either hijack an influencer or just create a Facebook page, you'll probably get the same similar results, given some trial and error.
Yeah, because I saw this guy. I think his name is Charlie from Penguin Zero or something. He made a comic called God Slap, and it had a really dope it had a really dope animation trailer. Like it was really cool. And then I don't know how much he did on the Kickstarters or the crowdfunding, but I think it was similar results to Eric July, just because the animation was great. He had so many years backed up of content, and I don't know. I don't know if the comic quality was good or not. Like that's one of those things. It's like people buy just so much based off of the influencer themselves that when the comic actually comes out, it's almost like a secondary thing to the quality of the comic.
Yeah, because again, influencer marketing is the influencer first, product second. So
Right.
So like the initial wave of ISOM, a lot of his detractors will try to say, well, they're just buying because of him. It's not a good comic or whatever. And it's like, well, it's just one book. I mean, like, damn, yeah, maybe it's not a good comic. You won't know yet because it's the first book, So
Right.
yeah, a lot of these first people are just because they rock with Eric. But I mean, as he develops the story more, he gets down to 2, 3, 4, or even 2, I guess, really. Even with issue 2, who's to say it's not because of the story, Like I'm sure there's a good bit of people who are buying books right now who are just like the story and they barely watch his content,
Right.
But yeah, that initial wave, yeah, I'm just hyped because you, as the influencer, think it's dope and you like it. I like you. Let me see what it's about.
Yeah.
That's usually how it happens. For what because like my girlfriend watches. Well, I guess she watches these TikTok girls, and they'll have their affiliate links and stuff for stuff they have in the videos, and yeah, they'll see them with it, and it's like it's nothing new. Michael Jordan, bringing up Michael Jordan again, that's influencer marketing. Yeah, all those NBA players with those sneakers are influencer marketing. They look cool playing basketball in it. I bet I'd look cool too if I was playing basketball in them. I'd probably look even better. It's all of that stuff. That's all it is. So I don't remember the original question, but yeah.
No, you answered it.
Okay.
Because I don't remember either, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
So as we start to wind down here, I do have a couple quick little questions for you that like I always like to just do a natural flowing conversation, which is why I'm like, hey, you can ask me whatever you want. We'll just talk about whatever. But before I let you go, I think there are like maybe 3 questions I do want to ask you, just for what I call some maybe clippable moments. So so 1, it doesn't have to be about making comics. It can be about anything you've experienced in your life. but just tell me what you think is the funniest story you've ever been a part of. Like something funny that happened.
Something funny that happened. One time I stole a mattress from Salvation Army, but it wasn't my idea.
See, that's a great comic right there.
Yeah, people told me that.
So why?
Well, I didn't do it, but I mean, I helped. I was like an accomplice. So I was just chilling in Salvation Army, waiting for my buddy with a van to finish in there, and then he comes around the corner and he gets me. He's like, "Hey, Ken, we gotta go right now." I'm like, "Okay, all right then." And I just started walking out fast with him, and he's just like, "Okay, man, help me move this mattress." And I was like, "Where'd you get this from, bro?" And he is like, "I got it from the." Don't worry about that. Let's just move it in the car. And basically, we just inched our way into the van, just tossed it in, and then he was just like, "All right, you drive." And I was like, "Oh fuck," because he was usually he's the owner of the van, and I was just driving, and I accidentally backed up in somebody else's car, and so then he got out. He checked, he made sure there was like no damage, and then we just peeled out of the parking lot, and we made off with the mattress. And I was just like, why? And he said, "Oh, because I needed something more comfortable for my back." And he said the way he explained how he even got it out of there, he said all he did was he would look at other people's eyes, and then when they were looking away, he would move the mattress like a couple more inches. And that way he was able to inch it further and further out of the store, and there was no cameras anywhere, so he just got away with it. I was like, what the fuck? And then we just chilled with that in the van for the next, I don't know, a couple weeks, couple months, however long I was there.
Got left for it to cool down. There's a lot of people looking for this mattress.
It was crazy. $700 mattress, I think.
What was it, a Serta? What was that, memory foam?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it was a Serta or a Tempur-Pedic. It was one of those.
All right. See, that was great. You know, it's like, yeah, I love talking about comics, but those kind of stories right there, that's the juice. That's what I want to learn about. Now, when I see you tweet on, when I see you on Twitter, I'm like, oh, that's the guy that jacked the mattress. Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's down in a pinch. He's a reliable dude. He can't drive. Yeah. He's probably going to wreck, but he's a reliable guy. He's not going to rat you out.
Right.
Okay. Something more related to comics. What do you think about AI comics?
Ooh, AI comics. I don't have a knee-jerk like, oh, they're trash reaction to it. I think they're a good, like, you can get some ideas from what the AI generates, but AI comics, as like the whole comic is made from AI, and it's like, this is what you get, like, this is what the AI spits out. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of even like making that or reading it? It's like, it's not coming from a human. It doesn't have your emotional scars. It doesn't have your childhood traumas. It doesn't have the happy days. It doesn't have any of that human stuff that makes it into something that's like a living piece of work. It's just like computerized. It's digital. It's dead. It's not really it doesn't come from authentic expression of somebody's human soul. It's just, hey, I typed in some words and this is what the words spat out. It's not based on somebody's like true feelings. And then on top of that, it's like not consistent panel to panel. It's like mostly different images. I think eventually they'll be able to work that out to where they can make it consistent images, but still it doesn't come from an authentic human expression. So I don't feel like AI comics are I don't feel like they're that strong of a medium.
Like so you're saying one day they'll be able to like maybe tighten it up. Do you feel like like it'll never be accepted, or do you feel like as it stands now, it's not a good way to go about things?
Well, the only people that really deeply care about that is art people, like people in comics, people in art. They look at it and they can tell right away, like, oh, this is made by AI, or this is a AI comic or something. But then people on the outside of comics, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They'll see like, oh wow, this looks cool. Like this is like really like nice looking. Like AI can make some really cool looking anime stuff and all kinds of like 3D models and whatnot. And if you made a whole comic book out of that, the regular person from day to day won't be able to tell the difference. They'll just look at it and they'll be like, wow, this is cool. So I feel like there are going to be a lot of people who can who, if they can program right, they'll make a lot of money doing that. But it's like, let them make their money. Me personally, I do comics for its own sake. Like I do it because I want to fully express myself authentically on the page, and I can't do that if I just type in words on a computer screen.
Absolutely. Like I feel like people are dismissive of it without realizing just exactly how much of a resource and tool it can be. Like, cause
Right.
I feel like people see like the debate on AI comics, and if they say it's okay, then that has to mean like, okay, well, you can't draw your comic anymore. And it's like, no, well, no one's saying you can't, you know, take the time to actually draw it the way you want to draw it. If anything, I think now there's more value in your comic because a lot of people are just, you know, doing prompts and, you know, getting a very uniformed and house style about things, and they don't have
Right.
artistic vision. You know, they're like the rise of AI will not hurt you. It will only make you, it will highlight you. It'll make you stand out more because it's
Right.
unique. So I'm like, I don't think it's something to fear. If anything, or fear, dismiss, or even ridicule. Like
Right.
I would look at it as like okay, well, is there something I could be doing with it? And it's like, well, as of right now, no, there's nothing I really want to do with it. Maybe one day it could be like just some nice filler content, you know, like oh, I need a picture for Christmas, like a Christmas picture.
Yeah,
and,
something like that.
But I'm busy doing other stuff. But I want a Christmas picture. I don't want to pay another artist right now.
Right.
I'll just prompt it up and live with that. It's a lesser form of content, but as you said,
Right.
the audience just sees it as content, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's more so me just getting out of the way of my pride and ego. And I think if given the opportunity, I would use AI, not for the whole thing, because I just like making comics, which I think most artists do. But I mean, I think it's a tool that will become useful if it's not already, and especially when it comes to animation, which I know a lot of people don't like to talk about. But the fact that animation is so time consuming, and also like just the artists, the people working in it aren't getting paid well. You know, or either they're getting paid well and they're just like they don't have a life. You know, they're getting raked through the mud, or it's like they're not getting paid well, and there's all these funds, or animators because they're living these shit lives. It's like, well, dude, like, look, I want to save the trees too. Let's just get some, you know, AI animation. Now, will it always have that, you know, that flair of unique, like, you know, like I really like Sakuga animation. You know what Sakuga is?
Yeah, of course.
I love Sakuga animation. So I'm all for, you know, the actual time it takes to put in the work. You know, like I hate seeing cheap animation, like how I guess you could just say you're a Naruto fan. You know when they're actually using, you know, their pencils, you know, and they're not trying to get out the frames, you know. I love seeing it. It's just, it's like, all right, what's gonna make more sense time wise? What's gonna make more sense money wise? You know. So a lot of those like just sort of filler episodes and scenes that are just kind of there to flesh it out. It's like, yeah, give that to AI. And now get these animators who we pay top dollar to handle these scenes that we really care about in the episode. So now they're getting paid what they need to, and they get to focus more now on the parts that matter. like I think it's gonna land in a pretty good place. So yeah, for
Right.
me, it's not in my way as far as I'm concerned, but
Yeah.
I'm always interested to see what other people think about it.
Yeah, I think similar along the lines of like, do I see if I can use it right now? No, not really. I don't really have any use for it specifically right now. But I also agree that over time, like the more AI becomes prevalent in people's work, the
Mhm.
more they're gonna like seeing the process of you actually drawing and creating the work and
Yeah.
putting it out there. They're gonna be like, it's gonna become that much more valuable to make actual real work or physical copies that people can hold and touch and whatnot.
hmm Yeah. Like I said, that Facebook page, that behind the scenes creator commentary, it's even more valuable. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Because behind the scenes for AI is just like, I just
Yeah.
don't
It's just you type it in. You know. So yeah. All right. One last question.
All right.
This is an idea I had for I was like, maybe this can become a recurring segment where it's called Make It a Lesson in Comics. And
Okay.
basically, you take something random that happened that seems like it has nothing to do with comics, and you say, okay, what can comic creators take from this experience, this moment, and then turn it into something on how they can become better comic creators in the future? All right, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you aware of what happened with the Titanic submarine, the tourist?
Yeah, I'm very minorly aware of that. Yeah.
Okay, so just to catch you up, basically,
Hmm.
a tourist group took a small submersible submarine
Right.
that wasn't all super decked out or anything. I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it, but they took
Nope.
this submarine down to go look at the Titanic. Each person in there, I think it was like 8 people. They were in there for about $250,000 a pop, and
Oh wow.
it wasn't to look through a window and see the Titanic. It was basically just to go down there
Uh-huh.
and look at a computer screen and say, "Yeah, that's what's out there."
Really? A computer screen? Like it's not even the actual Titanic. It's just
Well, it's the Titanic. I'm just saying they're looking at it through a screen, just like how you and I right now.
right.
It's not a window. Like you can't see fish and all that, like you're on a plane or something.
Right.
So, unfortunately, they all died either
Right.
from a disappearing, they got lost, or supposedly the ship exploded or imploded rather,
Right.
like minutes after they went under because of the
Mm.
pressure and some kind of horrible miscalculation of the captain who was steering it with a Logitech game controller. So
That's true.
yeah, it's like
Wow.
they have pictures of it. It's an off-brand PlayStation 5 controller.
Wow.
So I was like, this is a crazy thing that happened. But as a
Mhm.
creator and as an entrepreneur, I always look at different things and say, how can I apply that to what I'm doing? A lesson from this moment. How can I apply that to what I'm doing? How can I
Right.
apply how people responded to this story to what I'm doing? You know,
Mm.
maybe in my writing, how this whole thing captivated lots of people. A lot of
Right.
people reacted to it with a lot of comedy and memes, even though it was
Right.
something that was like kind of a race against the clock, and if they're gonna run out of air, and are they still alive? Where are they? You know, take all of that from what you do know and turn it
Mhm.
into a lesson in comics.
A lesson in comics. So the thing I think about is, if you didn't have internet, would it even like matter? Or if you didn't have a constant news feed of things happening every day or every week, would it even matter to you to do your work or to do your comics? Because people are going to meme about it, people are going to talk about it for maybe another week at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But then in a week or two, it's going to be something else. It's going to be a new news story. It's going to be a new thing in the news cycle that'll capture everybody's attention, and then they'll meme about that. And then every couple of weeks, every month or so, is going to be something new, something new, something new. But if you didn't have any internet, would any of that stuff matter to you? Like, would any of that stuff help you make more comics or better stories? Even if you were to make a comic about that, if you're a strip, like making a cartoon strip or a comic strip, then maybe it would make sense to comment on the news or comment on that specific thing. But if you're making your own story or making your own thing that doesn't have anything to do with it, then there's really no need to put all your energy or expend any like attention on that thing, because it's just going to be a new thing in a couple weeks. So I would take it as an opportunity to just refocus back on your work and not get too caught up in the details of the latest news story.
Okay, so don't chase trends. Just focus on what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. In a sense, because the most I knew about this story, like before you gave me the in-depth details, was just words, like just headlines, like submersible, billionaires, Titanic, implosion. Like that's all I knew about it. Like I heard the words, I saw the what's it called, the headlines and the titles and whatnot. But I've gotten to a point where I've finally like realized on an internal level how pointless it is to read like people's comments on these things, because some of them I'm going to disagree with, some of them I'm going to agree with, but it's like I don't need to expend that energy, that mental capital to focus on what everyone's thinking about this certain thing, because it's just gonna be a new thing in a couple weeks.
Okay, so all right, so here's another one. I think I hear you saying, don't give too much of your energy to these distractions out here. Like, yeah, that's a current event that's going on, but it's also a distraction taking you away from what you could be focusing on.
Yeah, unless it's your job to focus on them in some capacity, then I wouldn't really look at that stuff too much.
Okay, all right, and that was a lesson in comics. Okay. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that out. Let's see how that goes. Let's turn anything and everything into a lesson in comics somehow. So yeah, that was the first one, and thank you for doing that. Is there anything you want to advertise or whatever before we get off here?
Oh yeah, yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate you reaching out to me and whatnot. And I have my own podcast called The Comics Grind, and we come out with a new episode every Wednesday. Currently, we're talking about the Kubert School and my time and experiences there. I host it with Nico Rodriguez, and he goes by Nico_Writes on all his social medias. And you can find me on Twitter pretty much every day at TheComiCen, and on Instagram at ComiCen. And then my website is, well, you can find my webcomic, Air Rider High School Hero, at Global Comics currently, and I have a website in development on that. And sign up to my newsletter to be notified when Air Rider, the physical book, drops in March of next year.
All right, good deal. Well, yeah, thank you for being on, man. It was this was definitely like the last couple episodes have been hard to get guests on. When you're a small YouTuber, it's like everybody's kind of waiting for you to prove it first, before you can get anybody on. So yeah, I appreciate you giving me the time, giving me your time and the opportunity to talk with you. Very much appreciated. I've been keeping an eye on, what you're doing and stuff like that with Air Rider, because like I said, I pay attention to to the people I can, so I can see what they're doing, you know, and what I can learn from them. Like I said, you're doing stuff on Reddit. Who knows? That might be the move in like a couple weeks, couple months, couple days, you know. So
Right.
I just try to learn as much as I can, and I appreciate you being one of my teachers. So yeah, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for everyone who's watching, and yeah, have a nice one.